We'll call this meeting to order of the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors, May 7, 2019. Roll call, please.
Leyland.
Here.
Schwartz.
Here.
Trelka.
Here.
White.
Here.
Little.
Here. Okay, would you please join us in a moment of silence? Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item 1 is agenda received as proposed or amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments on the agenda? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 2 is public comments. Anybody like to speak to the board? This time is not an agenda item. Okay, seeing,
I think Mike Butler was going to.
this is public comments. Is there anybody like to speak to the board at this time?
Mike Butler.
I would, thank you. I'm Mike Butler, 1022 Washington Street in Cedar Falls. I'm a member of the Cedar Falls VFW. And in Cedar Falls, we have a Veterans Park, and we would like to add to that park. Not geographically, but add a memorial. It's called the Gold Star Family Memorial. If you're not aware, Gold Star families are those who send their children, their loved ones, off to war, and they don't return. They are killed in the war. And right after World War I, many mothers decided we need to organize. This is not good, and we're not facing this singly. We need to do it together. So a fellow who was at Iwo Jima and received one of those nice awards called the Medal of Honor put together something, and we're going to try to play off that and put in a nice marble memorial. And we're obviously looking for support. We want the county to know, because it's not a Cedar Falls kids kind of thing. It's the families of our area that we want to remember. So I appreciate that. You all have my document, and anybody else wants it may have one. Thank you very much.
Who would they contact if they want to?
Me, Mike Butler. It's well,
It's on there.
319-239-6214.
Could you repeat that again?
319-239-6214.
Okay.
This just Blackhawk County, or is it outlying, or what?
Blackhawk County, we're going to reach out across the state. The hard part is the moms and dads aren't always Blackhawk County anymore, even though their children grew up here, and vice versa. We have Blackhawk County people whose kids were living somewhere else, got drafted, which was Whitey and I's biggest fear. I enlisted and avoided the draft. But we're not saying, well, you have to be from this little area. We're open to anybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, is there anybody else? Okay, item 3 is years of service to employees with 20 or more years of service. Grant.
Okay, this morning we have Angela Graham from the Health Department here. She was unable to come when her certificate was awarded before, but Angie, would you come forward anyway? I know the board would like to congratulate you, so just come forward and they'd like to shake your.
Congratulations to you.
How many years was that, Graham?
That was 20 years.
20 years.
Thank you. Congratulations.
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 Thanks very much.
Would you like to say anything?
I've actually have worked at the for the county for over 25 years. I worked at Country View several years in the past as well. So obviously I love my work because I've been here for a long time. So it's a great community to work in, and I enjoy when I'm out and about taking care of the people.
Well, we thank you very much.
Thank you. We have one more service award for Christine Griffith from the Attorney's Office for 30 years. I don't see her here. Maybe she'll come next month.
Yeah.
Yes. So again, we congratulate her and thank her also for her services. Okay, thank you, Grant. Item 4 is claims and repayments. Resolution A, please.
The county's expenditures this week total $869,321.31, 869,321.31, and that includes approximately $640,000 for the public safety radio system. That should be our final payments to Raycom.
Okay, any questions?
Sorry. Motion to approve?
Second.
Anybody else? Roll call, please.
Leyland,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Little.
Yes. And resolution B.
Country View has no claims this week.
Okay. Do you have a motion?
Yeah, we don't need it.
You don't take any action. Okay. Moving on to item 5 is receiving project updates from department heads and/or elected officials. Morning, Kathy.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, County Engineer. Very briefly this morning, the gravel roads continue to be in about the same condition, very poor in many areas around the county. In other news, we do have a public hearing scheduled for Wednesday, May 22nd at 6:30 p.m. This is for the Grundy Road Improvement Project, and that will be at the Zion Lutheran Church at 5831 Grundy Road. If the public has any questions, they can call our office and we can provide them with more information. We will be sending letters out to the residents in the corridor this week, at the end of this week.
If it keeps raining, I suggest you move it. Move the meeting someplace else.
Yeah, that's something we should probably think about, just due to the condition of Grundy Road at the time. We will take a look at that later this week and possibly ask people to call in if the road seems worse than it is.
It's not getting any better.
Yeah. Thank you.
Were you out on that, Dan? Did you go out there too?
Nope, but I'm gonna this week.
Okay.
Okay.
Put your motors on.
Anybody else? Okay, item 6, minutes approved for April the 30th, 2019.
So moved. Second?
Any questions or comments on the minutes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We do have a hearing today. It's for bid to furnish and install Gilbertville Maintenance Building. We'll get to that shortly. Item 8 is a consent agenda. This will be made with a single resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the consent? Roll call, please.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item 9. This is contracts and agreements. This is a resolution of the extension agreement between Blackhawk County and the City of LaPorte Union Community Schools, amending the Suite Edition Urban Renewal Plan.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Anybody here to talk about this, or I think we did receive an email on it. Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Trelka,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Little.
Yes. Item B is a resolution of the best bid from Code Publishing, Seattle, Washington, for web hosting for the County Code of Ordinances. The bid is $735 per year, be approved. I believe this has something to do with our codification or something on there.
Right. yeah.
Okay. Is there any questions?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Little.
Yes. Item C is a resolution of best bid received from prospective consulting partners for benefit consulting services effective 1 July 2019 through June 30th, 2021, be approved and recommended by Deb Munger, Human Resource Director. Morning, Stacy.
Well, this is Debbie. Stacy is here with us.
Stacy, you want to come up too if you want to say something?
Sure. So as you know, we did go out for bids for this. We sent out to 8 providers. We had 7 responses. I had a team review the responses, and then we felt like that there was nothing that compelled us to make a move. Stacy and Perspective have done a really good job for the county. They have also guaranteed their fee for the next 3 years, and should there be a 3-year extension, they've actually gone so far as to extend it that far. This company is unique in the fact that they do not, they don't have contracts with vendors, so that they don't have any quotas to meet, they don't get money from them, so their motive is truly the county's best interest.
Very good. Stacy, is there anything you wanted to say?
I just want to say, thank you for having trusted us to work with you over the last several years. We enjoy working with you, and thank you for considering us for approval today.
Okay. Board, anything?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Leyland,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Little.
Yes. Item D is a resolution of best bid received from Preferred One as the county's third-party administrator for health insurance effective July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2021.
I'm going to let Stacy,
Okay.
who led the RFP, I will let her speak to that.
Okay?
Okay, so as you know, on behalf of the county, Perspective Consulting Partners marketed out the health plan to the TPA market. The contract had been renewed for a second time, so it was time to seek competitive bids. We started the process with an RFP certification sent to 8 administrators. This certification was to kind of list deal breaker items that the county had in order to administer the plan successfully. Then of those 8 administrators that we sent it to, 6 provided complete responses that we evaluated in December with the team here at the county. Those 6 were Apta Health, Oxient, Health Partners, Meritain, which is Aetna's TPA, UMR, which is United Healthcare's TPA, and Wellmark for a self-funded proposal. 2 administrators declined to submit the certification. Those were Cisco, which is owned by Cottingham and Butler, and Midwest Group Benefits. The RFP certification results were then reviewed with the team here at the county. 4 administrators qualified to move on in the RFP process based on their responses. Those were Apta Health, Oxient, Meritain, and UMR. 2 did not move forward in the process due to their certification responses. Those were Health Partners because they wouldn't allow the use of an outside PBM. As you know, we use Navitus here for the prescription drug benefit, which is an independent PBA, actually, an administrator. And then they were also unable to match the county's current benefit plan. Wellmark also didn't proceed in the formal RFP, passed the certification because they had not worked with the outside PBM and typically don't with smaller groups of their book of business. Required changes to the county's hold harmless language that was a requirement, and they also had hesitation in administering the county's current benefit design. We proceeded then with the full RFP. Then it was sent to 5 administrators, the 4 that qualified, along with Preferred One, which is the incumbent. Apta Health chose to formally withdraw during that RFP process, and UMR submitted an incomplete proposal, and they failed to provide critical information, which was the requested PPO discounts in order to evaluate them from a financial perspective. 3 administrators provided complete responses for evaluation. Those were Oxient, Meritain, and Preferred One. We evaluated these for their administrative services and capabilities, PPO networks, both on the discount side and the disruption that it might cause to employees by switching networks. And then the financial impact. So we looked at administration and claims cost, We performed claims adjustments based on the PPO discounts that were available with the various options, the care management program fees, and additional administration fees so that everybody was compared on an apples-to-apples basis. So the third-party administrator RFP accomplished a few things here. Unity Point had agreed to continue their enhanced discount arrangement. They had previously said that they weren't going to continue that into this year, and that represents about $750,000 in savings over and above what Midland's Choice off-the-shelf network would provide otherwise. And also Covenant here offered for the first time an enhanced discount to Black Hawk County through both of these discounts run through June 30th of 22. Just conservatively speaking, I didn't calculate in here the additional savings with Unity Point because we have that today. But they were continuing that, which previously they weren't going to. But if I just look at the Covenant and the additional discounts they're willing to provide, that saves 3.2% in total claims costs for the county, which is significant. Nowadays, in order to save that much on a self-funded plan, you're making plan design changes. So that's significant. Preferred One agreed to also restate their summary plan descriptions, which currently have several amendments from the previous year's changes. And then they're also offering an administrative service guarantee, which says for any month that Black Hawk County is not completely satisfied with their services, the county can deduct from their billing up to 20% of the billed administration fees. You know, obviously our goal isn't to deduct, you know, from the administrative fees each month, but I think that they're standing behind the service that they're promising to provide the county. So considering the costs and the services and performance, the recommendation that we came up with along with collaboration with the team here at Black Hawk County was to continue with Preferred One.
Very good. Board, is there any other questions or comments?
Nope, thank you for your due diligence on this. Move to.
Thoroughly.
Thorough report.
I didn't mean anything.
It's over now.
It was a long-winded. You asked.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Velka?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Leyland?
Yes.
Little?
Yes. Item E is a resolution of the addendum to the administrative service agreement between Black Hawk County Preferred One for a 3-year administrative fee guaranteed for the county health insurance.
Just to speak to this briefly, the administrative services amendment that Preferred One is putting forward reduces their administration fees from $26.50 currently to $20 per employee per month. So,
Very good. Board, any questions?
Move to approve.
Second?
Okay, roll call, please.
Velka?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Leyland?
Yes.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Little?
Yes. Item F is a resolution agreement between Black Hawk County and Delta Dental for the dental plan administrative. Again, this is July 1st, 2019, 3-year fixed administrative fee. And it lays it out there what the rate is.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, do we have anything on this one?
no, this is, we've monitored these 3-year incremental increases, and typically what we see is you're getting a little bit better if you sign on for the 3-year scheduled increases.
Okay. Board, any questions, comments?
Can you give me what PEPM stands for, please?
Per employee per month.
Per employee per month.
Yes.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
White?
Yes.
Leyland?
Yes.
Schwartz?
Yes.
Velka?
Yes.
Little?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, item D is a resolution, the addendum to the pharmacy management services agreement between Blackhawk County, Navitas Health Solutions. Again, the current administration fee of $2.75 or $2.75 per member per month, effective July 1st.
So moved.
How about this one? Anything on this?
This is continuing at the current rate, and this is with the PBM Navitus that handles the prescription drug card management here.
We still will be bringing one for Madison National Life. We weren't quite ready with that
Okay.
one. Second.
Okay, any questions? Roll call, please.
Leyland,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Little.
Yes. Item H, resolution amendment, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item H, resolution amendment to number 3 to the food service agreement between Blackhawk County and CBM for management of the food services of Blackhawk County Jail effective April the 6th, 2019 through April the 5th, 2023 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Is this is just signing a new agreement?
This is an extension.
It's just an extension is all this is. Okay, does anybody else get any other questions?
Is this a second extension on this or first?
I would imagine it is, because I know he just bid this out not that long ago. Is there anybody here from the sheriff's office?
You know it, right? I think it might be this time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
Okay, anybody else? Roll call, please.
Leyland,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Little.
Yes. Item I, resolution acceptance of settlement offer of $394,559 from United Healthcare with respect to PMI claims from April 1st, 2016 to July 23rd, 2017 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Susan is going to talk about this one.
Mike's here to talk.
Okay? Morning, Mike.
Good morning, Board. Mike Trinan, County Attorney's Office. Say, very quickly, as you may recall in the past, there was one sticking point, namely a confidentiality provision, which I considered illegal. That's now been removed, and per prior discussions, we now have an agreement I can recommend approval of. If it is approved today, they will email it over via DocuSign to Mr. Little at some point, either today or soon thereafter.
Okay.
Any questions?
Pete, anything?
No, this is a good deal to get this wrapped up like
Okay.
this.
Thanks for all your work on it, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. Board, any other questions, comments?
Nope, I'm just finally, we're here. The providers shouldn't have to threaten litigation to get paid, whether they're big providers like us or small providers like the many in our community that suffer. And I just renew my call on the state legislature and the governor to end this failed privatization of Medicaid, because it's not working for anybody. It's not even working for United, which is why they're pulling out of the state.
Yeah, it's been a long haul.
think it's
Susan,
working.
anything?
No, I'm just really happy that we
Yeah.
reached a settlement. And
Yep.
Yeah. Motion to approve.
Second.
Hey, roll call, please. Thank you.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item 10, other business. Motion to accept the resignation from Susan Deaton as Finance Director for Blackhawk County, May 17, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
I think we all do this with heavy hearts on this motion.
Yeah.
Susan, anything you want to say?
I just want to thank the board for the opportunity to serve as finance director the past 3 years. It's been a great experience.
Well, we thank you very much for your time and service, and put a lot of work into it every budget year. Keeps getting more complicated, and it looks like what they've done this year at the state is going to even get more complicated. So, again, we thank you for everything you've done.
And I appreciate all your guidance these past couple years, and just encourage you to still reach out to us in your capacity as one of our constituents now. And I just really appreciate your service, and just excited for the new opportunities that you're pursuing.
Oh, thank you. And I've really enjoyed working for the county. It's a great organization, and I'll miss everybody here. So,
Been with the county a total of boardroom 3 years, finance director, and then how?
auditor's office 4 years.
4 years?
Boardroom 3 years.
Okay.
Total of 7.
Anybody else? Again, thanks a lot, Susan. All in favor, do we have a motion?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item B is a motion that the personnel requisition for finance director full-time and the board of supervisors be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? That will start the process. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item C is the motion at the ground use request for 4th Street crews to use the Blackhawk County Courthouse parking lot on Saturday, May 25th, 2019 for staging area for the classic car and street rods.
So moved.
Second.
This is a yearly request. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim Coke, 2720 Jasmine Drive, Waterloo. We just appreciate all your support. This event's 38 year and seems to be growing for some reason. We think it's a good event, good way to kick off the summer, and we're finding out more and more every year how people come back to Waterloo to like a class reunion, getting back together and just enjoying the weekend.
Does it work well lining up out here then?
Perfect. We're needing that additional space, and it's just for a short amount of time, but it means a lot to us.
Good. Okay, anybody else?
Oh, it's a great event. I just appreciate
Yep.
what you do to bring more people into our community. It's
Yeah,
appreciated.
it is. It's good for the community.
We'll hope it doesn't rain.
Oh, taboo.
Good chance of it for me.
Okay,
You're in charge of that. The rain.
board got anything else? Do we have a motion?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, item D, a motion at the revision to the Blackhawk County General Assistant Policy, changing the wording from "we may assist somebody in homeless situation one time per year with up to $500 towards the first month's rent." Why don't you go in a little bit more detail what this revision
Okay,
is?
yeah, with the homeless situations, we have it in the policy right now that we can assist with up to $500 one time per year. We don't have to assist an individual very many times with more than that, but I just want to get that changed that we just assist a person one time only with up to the 500. After that, if they're in that situation again, we'll just go back to the allotted amount. I had a couple meetings with the homeless outreach workers at People's Community Health Clinic. We work really closely with them. They're the ones that kind of wanted me to go this route. I don't know, I just think it will be a really good change in that policy. I think we were just getting too loose in determining who was actually homeless and who just needed assistance with first month's rent. So I think that will be a good change.
Okay.
The only other thing is subsidized housing. I think if somebody's already receiving subsidized housing, we probably shouldn't subsidize that any further because it's already set to be able to afford that with the income that they have. And that was the only two changes, if you have any other questions.
I guess I have a concern about the subsidized housing. It's just because there are any number of situations that can still arise for somebody that's still.
Yeah, and
on
that's
these-
where we're always willing to make exceptions. We have that in the policy. We see very few people that are on subsidized housing right now, and we just always look at those situations individually, so we won't be assisting very many, but if it is, it will be an exception, because it is set so they can afford it with the income that they have.
Okay, is there anything else?
Thanks for your work on that, Colleen.
Yep, you're welcome.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose? Motion carries. Item E is a motion that the appointment of Jeremy Roselle as representative of Blackhawk County Veterans Affairs Commission be approved. Effective date is May 6, 2019, with a term ending June 30th, 2019. So I'm assuming this is filling out a term.
Yes. Jeff Dow had resigned back in, I believe, February timeframe, and this is to fill his slot. And Jeremy, come on up. I represented the part of the commission that interviewed. We had 9 applicants, 2 pulled out, we had 7. It was very competitive. We had a real good showing, and it was hard to turn away some of our more seasoned candidates. Jeremy represents, though, the post-911 group that we really don't. Our current commissioners are all either Gulf War or Vietnam. And Jeremy brings some really nice skills to the table, and I want to give him the opportunity. But just for you to know, it was a unanimous decision by the commission to recommend Jeremy.
Hi, my name's Jeremy Roselle. Just very excited to do what I can for the veterans of Blackhawk County. Like we talked about, as you can imagine, my grandfather is a Korean veteran, and what we have in mind as far as what we consider fun entertainment are two different things. So I see this challenge as trying to bridge the gap between my generation and veterans like my grandfather and maybe a few of my uncles. So just trying to bring a different mindset to help veterans my age from Iraq and Afghanistan know that they are accepted and that there are things to do in the county to be involved.
That's great, and we welcome you. You know, I seen a time where we had trouble getting candidates sometimes, and now you said we had how many?
We had 9.
9.
2 withdrew, but we had 7. I think
That's good.
And they were good, solid.
That's great. That's great. Okay, has anybody else got any questions for Jeremy?
Motion to approve.
Just thank you for your willingness to continue
Yeah.
your service
very
by
excited.
serving this county.
Anybody else?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Motion approved. Thank you very much. Okay, we come up to our hearing. It's 9:32. This is proposed bids for the Gilbertville Maintenance Building.
Motion to receive and place on file proof of publication.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The next one's motion to close the hearing after any oral or written comments.
So moved.
Was there any written comments?
No, sir.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Item 3, bids to be received, open and read. The bid deadline was 3 p.m. Monday, May 6th. Were they all 3 meet? All
Ye-
5 meet that?
Yes, they all met the deadline.
Okay. And engineer's estimate on this was $240,000.
That's correct. The first bid is from Bouchon Construction Company Incorporated, Montezuma, Iowa. They have submitted the bid security as required. Their bid is $362,000. 362,000.00. The second bid is from Don Gardner, Waterloo, Iowa. They have submitted the bid bond as required. Their bid, $279,930,000. 279,930.00. The third bid received comes from Kidder Construction Incorporated, Waterloo, Iowa. They have also submitted the bid bond as required. Their bid, $326,489.00. 326,489.00. The next bid is from Larson Construction Company, Independence, Iowa. They have submitted the bid security. Their bid, $354,000, 354, comma, 000.00. The next bid is from Mott Construction Incorporated, Sumner, Iowa. They have also submitted the bid bond. $249,000, 249, comma, 000.00. And that is all the bids.
Okay, item 4 is a motion that the Board of Supervisors review and place on file.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We do have a work session coming up dealing with IT. It's with our contract services with ACES. You're all welcome to stay if you want, otherwise you can leave. So we'll give it a couple seconds, Kim, and then we'll kick off.
We have, our contract with ACES is up.
Kim, you said the contract's up in May, but there's really no date on the contract.
Yeah, I think that what happens is we generally sign it in May, but we couldn't find a date on it, so.
I didn't see any date in there that has an expired date or.
So all of our contracts, they go year-to-year basis. So.
Maybe that's something we might want to put, and maybe it is in there, then we missed it. But it'd be something we'd want to have in the contract.
Oh, well, if you got it, you don't have it on the flash drive. You do have it on the flash drive, 'cause we could.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I don't have it on flash.
Thank you.
What
I'll do is while they're getting situated, I'll just kind of get started a little bit. I know most people here because my past job was the Boys and Girls Club. And something that's a little bit different, even Tim, he's probably gonna write down everything that I say right now.
Well, he should.
So, something that's different about this time here is that usually, I'm here asking you for money, and you get absolutely nothing in return. It just goes to the Boys and Girls Club. But the nice thing about this is that we do provide a service for you that I think is gonna be something that, you guys are really gonna appreciate what we do. And
Yeah,
there's some
it's
folks that are gonna talk about that.
HDMI, so.
But another thing that's pretty similar about being at ACES now, to being at the Boys and Girls Club is, how many of you knew that I was at the Boys and Girls Club, right? How many of you heard of the Boys and Girls Club? Now, how many of you know what happens at the Boys and Girls Club on a day-to-day basis? Yeah, exactly. Same thing is similar with ACES, is that ACES, everyone knows what ACES does. We work with IT, security, networks. But what exactly are we doing for you on a day-to-day basis? And that's where the hands may be going down. And so one of the things that we want to work on with our partnership with you guys is just making sure that we educate everybody on what's going on a day-to-day basis so that not only that you understand why we're here, but that you appreciate why we're here. And I think that'll make a big difference.
So it's not long enough to get up here.
The other thing that we wanted to just make sure of is just to promote the thought that we really do enjoy working with you guys. We really do enjoy working with Kim. You know, I've known Kim for a while, and I've known, again, you guys for a while. And the thing about this partnership that works out great, and what makes every partnership great, including you guys being on this board to begin with, is you figure out your strengths and your weaknesses with each other, and that's what makes a good team. And so what we're able to do is work with Kim on figuring out what those strengths and weaknesses are. Kim brings a lot to the table, especially when it comes to some of the programming and the software that you guys use and applications, and where we're able to fill in the gaps, so that way we're able to give her a productive team.
What do we need?
No video? No. Okay, well, we had this really nice video that really showcased to you what we do at ACES. Instead, I'm going to recite to you the whole video.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we can wait a minute.
Need to call our IT in.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I've got to download it. Great.
Jordan, are you okay to?
Are we ready, Rory, on this, on your end?
Are you ready to go without having this up right away? Sure. Yeah.
Is it gonna take a while?
How long do you think it'll take there, Jim?
I just need to copy the PowerPoint from the website over to the available device.
Yeah, well, does anyone have any good jokes they want? Okay, I got a good one or two, but I'll save them for later.
How long have we been with ACES?
Oh,
Since about 2014, I think.
yeah.
Does that sound right, Kim?
Yeah, I think this would be our fourth contact.
And it's worked out really well for us, and I don't want to step on your toes too much, Jordan, by talking about our contract, but, which is why I was delaying a little bit, but it's really worked out well for us, because I think with working with Kim, we're able to meet with her on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and just kind of figure out, again, the things that are going right, things that are going wrong, and fill in the gaps for.
You go to the microphone.
Yeah.
And just for filling in the gaps a little bit, for where their strengths and weaknesses are. And so I think what we bring to the table is the opportunity to help you guys do your work much better. And there are things that are behind the scenes that you don't notice. And by much better, what I mean is that our tagline is that we promote your success. We want you to find your success by connecting people with technology. And what that means to us is every time that your computer works well, every time someone in this department's computer works well, is all the things you're talking about here. When you have people that are homeless, how are you going to track that if your computers don't work? If you have people in a feeding program, if you have kids that are at the Boys and Girls Club, if you have folks that are coming from the vet's office, how can you possibly take care of any of that kind of stuff and support those programs if your computers don't work? And sometimes that's things that we take for granted. So, Jim, if you wouldn't mind just forwarding that and clicking on that video for everyone, so you can see all the services that we offer.
There's no internet connection.
No internet. So, with that being said, what we're going to do then is, for those of you who don't know ACES and aren't familiar with ACES, because I know there's a couple folks that are new to the board, I'm going to just separately email you that video so you can get a better idea of our background. But I'm going to turn it over to our Vice President, Jordan.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you guys for having us here today. Just wanted to kind of give you an update over kind of what we saw in the last calendar year, so the last 12 months of working with ACES. So we're averaging about 74 tickets per month, and in the last calendar year, we've completed about 1,700 hours of work. So a substantial number of work. And if we split that up into our different categories or different tiers of who's working on what, we can see that 8% of the work that's being completed in those hours are being done by Jim. Jim is our senior tech. He's our CTO, and he's doing that higher level work. 40% is happening at the systems technicians level, which is the server level. So those guys who are higher tiered in our office, and technicians are the ones who are working on those type of issues. And then 52% of the stuff that is coming in is being done by our help desk technicians. So mainline, frontline work, password resets, anything that can be done pretty quickly is happening 52% of the time. We're continuing to meet with Kim on a weekly basis, and we consider that kind of a consulting time. Come in and see what's working on a weekly basis, what's not working, what can we do to help assist her in any way.
Is that you, Jordan, that's doing that, or is
It's
that Jim? I
It's
know
actually
Jim-
Dakota back here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's hanging out in the back. And then we're continuing to be the frontline help desk and server support, but we're also assisting with security tools, so firewalls, antivirus, anti-spam, email filtering, all those different types of options that are in place that are just included in that. So in the last 30 days, our tools have stopped 9.4 million requests to websites that have malware. So that's a substantial amount. That can be fed into many different ways. That could be somebody searching for it, or that can be toolbars downloaded, anything of that nature. But we have a system in place that blocks those types of websites from happening. We also blocked 16 requests for websites with phishing activity. So those websites are basically just trying to collect your information to be able to hack in. In the last 30 days, our antivirus stopped 6 Trojan viruses from infiltrating the network. So those are really important stats as we go forward, as I think Jim is going to talk about some of the hardware in place that we have currently, because if those things came through, it would be detrimental to the citizens of Blackhawk County. So, Jim.
That's it, thank you.
You have records of that shows, how do you get that information?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Jim.
Will that be?
So we do have reports.
We make that available to all of us board members?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yep, we'll get that done. Thank you, Jordan. My name is Jim Allen, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer for ACES, also the Senior Systems Tech. So what we're looking at here is just kind of a quick snapshot of where we're at today. There's 292 reportable monitored systems. We have other systems here at Blackhawk County. Right now, we have a single firewall. You have recently approved a second internet connection for that firewall. But one of the things that we could consider moving forward is having redundant firewalls. That's 2 of them working together in high availability mode. In case one failed over, the other one would automatically assume duties. We're also looking at improving the disaster recovery footprint or scenario that Blackhawk County has. Right now, the health department is the focal point for that DR. That position could be a little bit better, and it's something that we're working to improve, possibly rearrange and get a better footprint there for our disaster recovery. Another area of improvement that we're going to be looking forward to, especially in the next few years, is separating and isolating the health department's network because of all the HIPAA-related information that's there. We need to try to isolate that, secure it, adjust the permissions so that only the appropriate people have access to that information, and that it's not going to be easily accessible from entities inside the courthouse that don't need it, and definitely, of course, entities outside of the courthouse who shouldn't get to it. So improve our position there. A couple of things that come under the other departments other than IT, but maybe should be now considered as part of IT, would be the voice network. You recently got a new voice phone system. When the phone system wasn't based on Ethernet cables and the internet protocol, it probably made sense to have that under a different department. But now that those technologies are starting to reside on the same infrastructure, it may be time to look at doing some combining and centralizing of that administration. There are some things that came along with your new phone system that we worked with Kim to do, which was put in some new switches at core pieces of your network so that we could get faster throughput from position to position. So we put in 40 or 10 gig capable switches that can connect from here to Pinecrest or from here to the attorney's office to the different locations in the building so that we can improve the amount of throughput as needed in this building. You've got a significant number of connections with over 300 machines connected to your network. That's a lot of data, and right now that data is being daisy chained over regular Ethernet cables. And so we can imagine several hundred machines trying to connect through these where we could get faster, better, more reliable throughput going to fiber. So this is something that we're working on, putting the right pieces in place so that we can move forward with that. Okay? That includes also putting in the switches between here and Pinecrest and other locations that could use that 10 gig site to site. Okay? And then from a security and compliancy, another area that probably should be looked at from an IT perspective is physical security, whether it's the proximity badges and the door badges, or whether it's camera security, other things like that. Currently, these things are not really under the IT world, and maybe they should, because again, more of this technology is going to internet protocol, the IP protocol. We are powering them over Ethernet cables, things of that nature. Another area in the security and compliance category would be drive encryption. One of the HIPAA requirements is that any data, any machine that has PII, right, personal identifiable information, that drive should be encrypted, especially on portable devices, including laptops, cell phones, tablets, whatever the case may be. If that device is lost or stolen, you have some responsibility there if that device is not encrypted. If it is encrypted and that encryption can be verified, that meets the compliance and we're covered. So it's things that we need to move forward with. In a recent report we ran, we have 143 accounts here at Blackhawk County that do not have a password that ever expire. The number one vulnerability for user accounts is weak or non-changing passwords, and we have 143 of those. Now, given you have almost 500 accounts within this environment, it's really not a bad ratio, but we can do better, right? And it's one of the things that we need to improve on. DMZ, which stands for Demilitarized Zone. In network speak, it means we need to isolate some of that specific traffic. Right now, we have some web servers that the general public can get to that are hosted by Blackhawk County, and we don't have those as secure as they could be. We don't have those devices set off to the side in their own little network as well as we could. And so that's some place that we can make improvements, and we want to continue to work with you to do those things. And then finally, the last bullet point from a technology perspective that I'm talking about, patching consistency throughout the Windows operating systems. The number one source of compromised systems is through unapplied security updates. And with our legacy systems that we still have in place here, including some 2003 servers, a Windows XP machine that's showing on the network, we need to get those addressed and get more consistent on our patching. This is one of the services that we provide, but there are some machines that we're kind of having to be ginger with because of their age or their legacy services. The old phone system comes to mind. There's a couple of other machines. But we need to get better about getting those things, and we would like to move forward doing that. That's all I have. Any questions for me?
You're a little technical for something.
So a couple of those things that he talked about today are things that are in the budget for next fiscal year. The redundant fiber for United, I can't say it. There you go. And moving our disaster recovery out to Hartman. So some of those things we're working on. The patching thing, again, is one thing that we run a report every month. I get a report from the state every week from the vulnerability scan. And there's typically a ticket outstanding for patching that needs to be done, so.
How about the HIPAA stuff?
The HIPAA, the laptops are all encrypted for the health department, so that, and they all, on their cell phones now, have that mobile device management software, so that is being addressed.
What about the 143 accounts?
Well,
That's over 25%.
I'm gonna have to check
You
on.
said that's not
Right,
bad.
I'm gonna have to check on what those are, because they may be accounts that really may not even be used anymore, but let me check on that. So, okay?
So that's something that you work together with as far as identifying those and
Exactly.
doing what's needed, so
Right.
you report.
So, can I say a couple
Oh,
more
sorry.
things?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. One of the other things is we get reports from the recon software that will list like software that needs updates or is missing software, that kind of thing. We're going through Active Directory. That's kind of our little security thing where computers need to be included in that, and we have some computers that need to be removed that are no longer in service. Accounts that we disabled, maybe they're to the point of deleting, like the Country View. All of those accounts were disabled at the time, and then we deleted their email accounts when PryTalk was finished. So that's a constant cleanup thing as well.
So we still have 500 computers though, after we get rid of the ones out at Country View?
Well, I think part of the deal is that they're still showing up in Active Directory. So we need to make sure that that's a cleanup thing where in the past, it hasn't necessarily been our practice to do that the right way. Is when the machine was removed, it should have been deleted right away. And so there's changes in processes now. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So you're not done, I assume. You're segueing to some other things, or?
Yeah, Mr. Rowe has a
Oh.
finishing comment.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want to raise of hands by any means. By the way, I'm kind of disappointed that no one gave me a round of applause at the beginning for stretching out the longest intro in the world. But anyways, I don't want you to raise your hands, but think in your minds, if you were confused at all by anything that Jim talked about, I want you to consider that. Because if you had no idea what he was talking about, that's proof alone how important ACES is to an agency like this. Because when you are able to focus on what you do best, that's what makes success right there. And when you use ACES, not only are you using it's ACES that you're paying, but it's really Jim's brain, which is the gift to what we're doing. Because between Jim and then our other certified techs, we'll go head-to-head, toe-to-toe with any other tech out there as far as our knowledge base is. And that's what we bring to the table for you, and that's what makes it so that your network is as safe as possible. But in saying that, one of the things that I talked about at the beginning is you have a basic idea of what we do at ACES, but what we want to do is improve our communication throughout the year, so that way not only do you know what we do, but you actually understand what we do on a quarterly basis with you. And here's a couple of ideas that we want to promote to you. One is, obviously, we want to continue the partnership that we have. As we do have a lot of legacy hardware here, we have the knowledge base of your system. So our certified techs already are aware of the network and the security that we do here. So it just makes a lot of sense for us to continue that partnership. But we want to start scheduling strategic planning meetings, starting in the month of June between you guys and us. And when I say you guys, obviously, Kim in there as well. When we're able to sit down and actually say, what are the priorities that we want to do with our partnership? What are the main focuses that you guys have? What are the concerns? What are the things that we think we're doing well? What are the, basically do a SWOT analysis on everything. So that way we can strategically together come up with the plan of what we want this network and security to look like. The other thing we want to do is make sure that we have quarterly meetings. And whether that quarterly meetings is with the entire Black Hawk County Board of Supervisors or whether it's with the IT committee, what we want to do is meet together on a quarterly basis to go over these reports so that everyone understands what we're doing. The other quarterly thing we want to do is, you mentioned, you heard that it was mentioned that we meet with Kim on a weekly basis. But what we want to do is also meet on a quarterly basis with Kim and her staff. And during those times, we want to not just do it as a report session, but also as a quasi-training session in case Kim or anyone on her staff are unaware of maybe how to do a certain process or how to take care of a certain issue. It's an opportunity for our staff to be able to help train those folks or give some education on any issues they may be having. ACES also provides what we call SPOF, single point of failure, which is basically a check that we do to help find out every possible thing that can go wrong with your network. We try to find a backup plan for you to make sure your network is never an issue. And then also a best practices check that we do. And this summer, we would like to do that, both of those checks with you, to just make sure that your network and security is up to date. And we do this for anybody and everybody that's a client of ours throughout the year. So it's not something that we're doing special just because we're talking about our contract. We would do this anyways. And then the last thing we just wanted to bring up is that we would be happy if you found a third party that would do something similar for you, whether it's on an annual basis or every other year or however you wanted to do it, to then compare our findings from our checks to maybe what the third party finds. So that way there could be a little bit of comparison so that you can make sure that we're in check as well. But again, we feel very confident in what we do, so we're not worried about that. But I know for peace of mind, I know it's always nice when an outside group is just able to just do a double check of the work that others do with you under contract.
All right, one more, guys. We'll be done. So to kind of look at the 2019-2020 contract, it's a one-year contract. There's no change in the price per month. The one thing we are going to include is you guys have about 15 servers that need to be replaced because they are end of life. So we're going to include those service hours in this next contract. And if you want to, it takes about 40 hours to do one server. So that's about 480 hours of service work that we're going to include in this next contract. The reason why we're doing that is, number one, it helps out the county, but it also helps ACES become more efficient as you guys are up to date. As now we're moving on to 2016, 2019 servers. We have some 2003 legacy equipment that's still here. That's end of life. So it kind of helps bring you guys up to speed, as well as make our process, everything more efficient as well.
So do we have the servers in our budget? I mean,
Yeah.
we have
Well,
the
it's
plans to
really not
replace
the
them?
hardware, it's more software.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, last week Dakota and Jim and I met and went through all the I think all the hardware and server and went through. There are some OSs that I'm gonna need to buy that I hadn't budgeted, so, some of the machines, 2 of them are for the recorder, and we've been, for her boats and snowmobiles, it's kind of funny, there was a time frame when COT actually did boats and snowmobiles, and now they use the DNR for that, so for history, she really wanted that. Well, I've convinced her that the time is up, she's gonna have to give them up. So that plus one other project, those 2 of 2003 will be gone. Anything that we've done new, so when we're done with this process, we should really have everything on 2016 or 19, but I think we're gonna probably stick to 16. There's one server that's 2012 that we may not do anything right now, but we should be even Steven with that, with the discussion that we had last week. And if you want to see nice whiteboard drawn up in the IT conference room, there's the whole layout is there, and what we intend to do with each box.
Again, when you do meet with ACES, I don't know if it's monthly or weekly, you include your staff in these meetings?
At this point, it's more higher level of, these are the big projects that we need to do rather than specific things. If it's a ticket where they're actually doing work, you know, that's really between the user and ACES. Sometimes I get involved if there's that, and sometimes staff work with ACES too. But generally, the meeting with Dakota and Jim in the past is more at a higher level about planning.
I was just looking more for the fact if you were gone, if we had somebody as a backup that could be meeting with them.
Right. And
was on the same level and knew what you guys were
right.
talking about.
Sometimes he's not available, sometimes I'm not available, so it isn't a must-have kind of thing. So it's more planning for the future. Or if some project's coming up that we want to make sure that we deal with. And since Angie took over, I used to talk to Sheila about the actual tickets to say, you know, this one's been sitting out there for a while, so that I need to get back in the habit of visiting with Angie. They have a new dispatch person, so.
What is those tickets average take, and how much time does it average take?
Well, and I think that one thing, and forgive me if I'm wrong, some of those tickets are more monitoring. Like, for example, one great thing that they do every week is restore file on 4 machines, so that we know the backup process is working and the restore process will work. So some of them, do you want to guess what a percentage of them are more kind of maintenance things, more making, well, like a ticket. Every time I ask for a new vulnerability report, that's a ticket. So I think
Some of those tickets in there, we call them proactive tickets.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we're cleaning things up before you guys even know it, and we don't want it to become a problem because then it makes our systems less efficient. So there's some tickets in there that just happen automatically, as we think it's important to try to stay ahead of the curve before it becomes a problem in somebody's department.
Yeah.
So
Lab Tech runs some processes nightly, and so I'll get a copy of the reports for that. So it might be machine hasn't reported in for a recon for so many days, or they couldn't get the product code from the software. So some of them really, it isn't like it's a big deal to do. They're pretty quick, but I mean, there's a lot of things. And like I said, backing up and, you know, checking the backups, wonderful thing, you know. So that's 20 tickets right there in a month.
happens every day at 8 a.m. We check backups for every client. So
Does ACES work with any other government entity?
yeah, we work with a lot of cities
Counties?
and counties.
Counties, both.
Yep,
Can you send us a list of those, please?
absolutely.
Thank you.
How many tickets are usually open? I mean, you know, that used to be an issue as far as the response and getting things
Well,
corrected for
there's
staffing.
like a page and a half. I
And are
think.
they open for a long length of time?
Well, some of them are open longer, and some of it is, you know, coordination between here and there, and some,
Are there things that could be done, I guess, to improve that?
and I think getting together with Angie on a more regular basis, the dispatch person, because I think Sheila was pretty good about following up and making sure something happened. We've got a few tickets that are pretty old, you know, they're not high priority. There's some things that we're doing to be proactive, it doesn't sound right, but they're kind of out there and need to do, but maybe it takes a little longer than we think, or it's a hold on, wait on something and start it up again and hold on something, so, but yes, if you could do that, I'll
Yeah, absolutely.
talk about meeting with Tuggy, because we had a phone conversation, like, not every week, but we'd go through the tickets and if there was something specific. But if I have an issue, I do, you know, call or email and ask about those.
Who prioritizes this stuff?
We do it in a tier structure. Basically, it's, obviously, if there's an urgent issue, a call is probably the fastest way to get anything done. But there's a bunch of different ways to contact us. There's help desk chat, there's email, phone. You can put a ticket in online, access to the ticket board from here. So there's a bunch of different ways. Priority is, okay, is the courthouse down? That's obviously priority number one, as that is a red hot ticket to get done. If there's a department down, it also flows into that as well. You know, if someone in a department's keyboard is broken, that's not super high, you know, on the priority list. It just depends on what is being affected in that ticket. So, and then dispatch will take that and they look at every ticket that comes in and decides, okay, is this a red or an orange or a yellow, or, you know, they can wait a little bit. That's how we do that.
In the past, I was able to say it was I forget what the category was. They just, like last week, rescheduled or retargeted, so they asked me to not do any fast requests. But yes, if it's something, if it's crucial, I call. If it's a ticket that, yes, 2 to 4 hours, they can get it done, was an orange. So I have a little ability to say it's priority.
And we're constantly observing that and constantly making changes to that to improve that. I'm not saying it's a bad process what we have now, but you know, we're a company that continually strives for improvement, so we're taking a look at that at all times. So,
Board, is there any information you'd like to receive from either ACES or the IT office?
I just rely on that.
Whether it be-
Who's on the IT committee ought to bring it back to the rest of the board. And I'm not gonna sit in on an IT committee meeting because I got enough meetings to go to.
Well, the IT
And so
committee,
we got, who's the members of the IT
it'd be
committee?
Chris, myself, and Kim.
Okay.
Actually, we just met, last week? And it's been, we'll probably start meeting more on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, is there something the board members like on a regular basis from
Yep.
ACES or IT
Okay.
or in regards to the contractors or information or?
I guess something I'd like to see, and I know we've talked about this before in future or past years, and it's something, I don't know how the staff feels about it, but we talked about, when Dave Hansen was here, I think, meeting regularly with the staff, with the department heads,
Sure.
and their needs and what was going on, and I think, I don't know if that's occurred at all, Kevin, or Kim, about that.
Not this last year, so,
No,
yeah, I
okay.
can be worrying about that again.
When you say staff, you mean IT or the county staff?
It was the county's department heads that
Okay.
met with ACES and Kim and
so
talked
can I
about
clarify,
some of this.
are you
Yes.
wanting ACES to do that, or are you wanting Kim to do that?
Well, we met with them together.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
I just
so
wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and set up a schedule and give.
And on a regular basis, because
And I don't mind doing that.
I think both parties would benefit from that, but I think also then you knowing what the issues are in the departments as well as Kim,
Yeah.
and how those can best be addressed. But I just thought that's something that we haven't done.
Sure.
Well,
Well,
I
we
think-
did for a while, and you know how you get
Any
busy.
department heads out there, or elected officials that are sitting out here, got any problems with what's going on? Thank you.
Kathy Nicholas. Yeah, I would just like to echo what Linda's saying. We would like to be a part of regular, expand the IT committee so that you're including users of the different systems. We have vastly different needs in the engineer's office than the recorder does, for example. We have some very specialized needs with our CAD programs, getting our software to work. We're going to be hiring a GIS specialist. I anticipate we're going to need some software to be purchasing some software. We're probably going to need some assistance with getting those types of things up and running. We'd like to be included in the IT meetings just so we can give you ideas of what we would like to do in the future, some of what our long-term goals are. I just think meeting more than once a year is not enough, that we need to be communicating more as a county very often, more frequently.
I think what Linda's talking about, and don't confuse with the IT committee. The IT committee was established as a liaison between the IT office and the Board of Supervisors. I think what you're talking about, what Linda was talking about, is have more regular meetings with IT, ACES, and our county staff, department heads and elected officials.
Right.
On a more regular basis, quarterly or whatever, but not IT committee, because obviously we got a lot of committees, but you can't have everybody on them, so you got a select few. So I think that's what you're talking about, Kathy, having more regular meetings
Yes.
with IT and ACES.
Right. Well, and we haven't gotten to the engineers, but that's definitely something, like the real estate group meets pretty regularly, and now this year, especially with the upgrade, but we would get together, 2-3 times a year, just those departments, because they had a lot in common. So I can definitely work on that. But I also had suggested earlier too that the IT committee should have somebody from the engineer's office, somebody from real estate to be that representative, so that, because the GIS overlaps with our real estate, so I mean, that is something that we can look at again, but there was a suggestion earlier.
I guess I would say I'd be welcoming of having some of the department heads on the IT committee, because it's a chance for us to hear everybody hear directly about what their concerns are and what their issues are, than having to rely on interpretation and of what people's concerns are. I like when we hear it directly. And then the other thing I'd like to hear more from ACES and from Kim. I'm a big supporter of continuing education for our employees, regardless of what department. And so if there are needs that you can identify, and then that ACES can demonstrate that they have the ability to help with those training opportunities, I'd
Yeah,
like
and if
to
I
hear
can
more about
shift
that
that comment a little bit further, one of the things that I've talked to Debbie Bunger, who may not be here, oh, there she is some training from my staff to employees at the county on Excel, Word, that kind of thing, that have some issues. Because in the past, we've talked about it, but Debbie had a person in a department that really could use some work. So I was going to talk about this at department head meeting tomorrow, is to pass it out through the department heads to say, hey, what's the interest? And then if I did get a list of things, send out a survey and say who would be interested in doing that. Because Glenda had in a past life been a trainer for whatever that ACC or whatever it was. And so she'd have some experience, and if, and we did this in the past, we had lunch and learns with the recorder's office to help them get through some of that kind of thing. So that would be the other side of it, is training for my staff, and staff can do training for other departments.
Excellent.
Yeah, along the line what Chris was talking about too, I'd like to see what qualifications or what the people in your office have the ability to do.
Well, go ahead, sorry.
Because I'm a strong proponent of bringing that back in-house. We've been kicking the can down the street for 5 years. It's time to either make up our mind or...
I think, Chris, too, your idea is a good idea to start a committee. The IT committee really, again, was started between the Board of Supervisors and the IT office. They had no 5-year plan. They had no goals. They had nothing. So it was more of establishing what's your future, and what's your long-term plans budget-wise and blah, blah, blah. So it was more budget-wise and how you were gonna get this county, you know, going forward, rather than the type of information our department heads want. So we can have these meetings that you're talking about. I don't know if they necessarily have to be a committee. They can be an informational meeting like you've got today. We just need it more on a regular basis. So the department heads and elected officials can bring their concerns and go right to the source, our people and ACES. And I think that's what they're asking for. Once a year isn't enough.
Yeah, if I may, Rory Giving, Building Maintenance. As you just mentioned, Tom and Chris and Kathy, with building maintenance, we're most certainly involved with IT, as ACES mentioned earlier in their presentation, the IP phone system. You know, the building maintenance department, for the most part, that's always been under our department. Obviously, we work very closely with Kim. She's been an integral part of that upgrade that we did. So therefore, I think more meetings, whether it's committee meetings or just informational meetings, but building maintenance definitely needs to be involved. We're currently working on a door key fob upgrade system for Pinecrest. That's another perfect example of how building maintenance and IT kind of cross over. So if it is a consideration that you're going to expand on the committee, I would definitely be interested in taking part of that, just to bring our side of things to that committee, if that's the way we go, or if it's just
I think all
information
departments need to
meetings.
be involved. I mean, some form or faction, they deal with IT. So your state maintenance does quite a bit, but every other department does too, so we want to involve everybody. Every department we have, we want to, you know, give them the information. So
I mean, we're up in the ceilings running wireless. We're
Yep.
running wiring. So
I think what they're doing is they're just telling us once a year is not good enough. We
Can I
need
say
to
one
meet
more thing
periodically.
about that? I want to thank this man for he has done a great job of helping us with cabling and that kind of thing. And I think that Rory and Building Maintenance and IT has worked fairly well together, very well together. And we've gotten a lot done with the phone system. That was a big project. And obviously we needed help with the switches and that changing the security on the phones, or the configuration of the switches, I'm sorry. And so I will say, I think that most everyone at the courthouse works together very well, and I think we're all trying to do our best to make sure that the county works as well as it can, so.
Oh, Kim, nobody doubts that. I just think
No,
what
but
we
I
need
just
to-
meant, you know, people don't
Yeah.
say thank you enough, and so I just wanted to say, Rory, thank you.
Sure. I do think when I went back and looked this morning, because we had an IT user group, and the hope of that was in 2017, that we would meet every other month for some of those that had shared problems, concerns, issues. I think they met once.
Well,
So,
I think we meant more than that, but you may not have been.
well, as an IT committee person until January,
well.
I think, no,
Okay.
I'd say that probably didn't happen. But I know we met even sometimes weekly, monthly, to just kind of keep on top of some things and make some of those decisions that you're talking about. But I think it certainly benefits by everybody meeting at times, but definitely the departments.
I think quarterly would probably be a good start.
Well, I think
That
immediately.
will set up
I think you need to start immediately meeting with everybody, not wait till
Yeah.
quarterly,
I
and
think
then
you need
start
to-
from there.
I think, you know, to add on to that and not to, you know, keep this going for, you know.
Well, we need to make a
Okay,
change.
so ACE's stance on that is, and what we do with all of our clients is we just want a seat at the table, you know, to help make those decisions. So any type of groups that go together to speak IT, we welcome that opportunity to be there. So we would appreciate that, so.
Okay, board, anything else?
Well, just being new to the board, I was curious to see what we're getting for $20,000 a month, because I was surprised. That's a substantial amount.
Yes, it is.
Well, there's some history to that. We can fill you in on how that all came about too, but we don't need to do that today. But I was going to say, Chuck, you're aware of, it sounded like Kim mentioned last week, that ACES is aware that the board is considering or was supporting doing a third-party assessment of
Sure.
our IT department.
Yeah, and you know, what I was going to say really quick, and it kind of ties in a couple things, is we say that there's three things that separates ACES from any other company out there. And one is going to be the way we do business. Most traditional companies out there, they charge block hours and they charge you per hour for whatever work they do. And you can see the server project alone was 480 hours right there. Whereas we don't do that. We're there for you when you need us. And that's something that we pride ourselves on. The second thing that we do is we talk about our communication and how important communication is to us. You heard about how the billion different ways you can get a hold of us is. And part of communication, though, is also having these quarterly meetings. And like I mentioned before, sometime in June, what we'd like to do is actually have a strategic planning meeting to talk about some of the issues that you're bringing up, some of the questions. And, like I said, I'll move on from that to make the third thing that we do well, and that is it's our knowledge base. When it comes to our best practices, when it comes to our single point of failure, when it comes to the knowledge base that our techs have, that's where you'll find the value in the money that you give in this contract with ACES. Is that you could hire your own staff, sure. But I could promise you that if you're looking for staff that are going to stay someplace with the knowledge base that you want on the county level, dollar for dollar, we would fight head to head and toe to toe with anybody out there. And you'll find that the cost savings of bringing somebody in house isn't as big of a difference as you might think. Now, whether we talk about that now or not, that's not the point. The thing is that's when we go back to having the strategic planning session, so that everyone could figure out what are the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, the threats that are out there, that we could figure out, where do we fit in? Where do you guys want us fitting in? Where do different department heads want us fitting in? Because you don't know what you don't know. And when we give reports to you, and mostly we do our communication with Kim, and I don't know what she shares and doesn't share, but the thing is that as far as what each department head or even the supervisors, what you might individually want to know in those reports, that's another great reason to have this strategic planning session. So that way we know what you want. So that way in the reports we can make sure we focus on the things. Because again, we don't know what we don't know, and if you don't tell us what kind of questions you specifically want, then we might not be able to answer those. So anyways, we just want to be as best communicators as we can so you can understand. So that's a great question, Dan.
I think the best thing we got out of this today was we heard that our departments want more information.
I got one more.
More regular meetings on this, and that's what we'll look to achieve to take care of. Yes.
Good morning, Nafise Bonye, Health Department. So what I'm hearing is that we need a structure for a strategic plan, both from Kim and ACES. One thing that I could say that has worked with the health department is that we have an IT committee whereby Kim sits in. So we also have different departments that could have those kind of IT committees, and then we do have the department head meetings in whereby we can have a more detailed conversation about our strengths and weaknesses so that we can inform the Board of Supervisors, because our needs can be vastly different, but we also have similar needs. But I think for us to get to the point of more of the strategic plan is to be able to come up with a report that informs you all so that decisions can be made in terms more of a standardized systems, and that's what we lack. So I highly encourage ACES and also the IT department to work with each department head to figure out what that structure can look like so we can present it to you all. Thank you.
Yeah, this whole process has been a revolving. You got three of us sitting up here that have gone through a period where a lot of the complaints came directly to the Board of Supervisors. They didn't go to IT. I don't know if ACES was on board at the time, but we heard directly from the elected officials and department heads. That's how the board kind of got more involved in it, trying to try different things. So obviously that has changed somewhat. We don't get the complaints like we used to get, other than today I heard they want to meet more, which I think is fine for that. So, okay, board, anything else?
Yeah, one other question for ACES too is, from a planning standpoint, would there be things you could share, or I guess in sharing with other departments in those meetings, that type of thing in planning? I think
With regard to the server upgrades or just the?
No, not the infrastructure so much. I'm thinking of different departments and what they do differently. Like we talked about health, we talked about engineer and that type of thing, and working with Kim.
I think as Dakota and Jordan meet with Kim and those department heads and we start to identify those items that those departments want to address, I think involving them in the planning of how we're going to address their concerns.
So part of that would be probably the strategic plan you're talking
Right,
about.
working with Kim through that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Chris? Dan?
Nope.
Great. Okay, well, we thank you very much. I'm sure we'll have some more discussions. That contract, I'm assuming, is going to be coming before the board, so if you got any questions, you need any more information, make sure you let us know or let ACES know or Kim. Okay? I encourage you all to look at the, and maybe you have already, the full contract. I think Dana sent that out. If not, we'll get everybody get a copy. Okay.
You have the new contract already or no?
No, I mean,
Oh, okay. Well, I have last year's, if that's what you want.
We had that too, but if there's a new one, I want to make sure it's
Sure.
reviewed by Pete before we sign anything.
Definitely, yes.
And then
Okay.
also the board can look at it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 12. Any reports or information from the board at this time?
Just at 7 o'clock this morning, our 24th honor flight took off. They're probably landing in DC right now, heading for their first memorial. So, and there's 97 vets on board, 3 World War II vets, the oldest one being Tom's age, 98. So,
Is he getting around good?
yeah, better than you.
There we go. Oh, shit. Better adjourn this meeting. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I'll just share. You know, for the past couple of years, I've been serving on the Middle Cedar River Watershed Management Authority. Thanks to Sherman Lundy, I'm now in the executive leadership of it. But we are getting really close to finalizing our watershed plan. So in the coming weeks and months, we'll have a really finalized plan for what it would take to manage the soil and water health throughout this watershed, which includes large parts of Black Hawk County. And there'll be hundreds of shovel-ready projects in this document that's going to be well prepared that we can start shopping around to our state lawmakers and to our federal legislators. And I've already put it on the radar of our of Congresswoman Abby Finkenauer's office, and they're very interested in seeing it. But we have a couple more things to finalize because we want to make sure it's a document that's going to be valid for the next 20 years as we tackle this big issue of soil and water health. But I just want to let you know that we're really close to having a really great plan in place for the watershed.
Very good. Anybody else?
Motion adjourned.
Second. All in favor, say